Picture this. You're 100,000 years in the past. Your group just spent half the day bringing down a large animal, and now you have a pile of raw meat dropping onto the dirt. You have absolutely no pot, no pan, no metal, and not even a bowl, just fire, rocks, and your bare hands. This timeline shows the massive, million-year history of human cooking, compared against the surprisingly tiny 20,000-year sliver of pottery's existence. Ceramic pots are a remarkably recent invention. So how do you turn that raw carcass into a real, digestible meal without a single container that can hold water over a flame? For 98% of human history, complex cooking demanded highly resourceful engineering. Our ancestors had to manipulate rocks, dirt, and organic matter to control heat without destroying their food. The earliest solid evidence of cooking dates back about 1 million years. Homo erectus figured out a crude but effective method. They simply tossed cuts of meat straight into the hot embers of a campfire. Even badly roasted meat is dramatically easier to chew and digest than raw muscle. This freed up massive amounts of calories and digestive energy, which the human body naturally rerouted toward growing a larger, more complex brain. But direct roasting has a glaring thermodynamic flaw. If you lay food right on a fire, the heat transfer is wildly uneven. The outside quickly turns to charcoal, while the inside stays cold and raw. To properly cook a large amount of food all the way through, early humans had to invent a way to completely separate intense heat from the open flame. The solution to that radiant heat problem is one of the most widespread technologies ever developed. Completely unconnected cultures all over the planet independently invented the earth oven. Dig a pit, fill it with stones, and build a fire on top. Heat transfers downward, creating a thermal battery. Next, remove the embers, stack food wrapped in leaves on the rocks, and cover the pit with dirt, sealing the heat underground. Archaeologists verify this underground method by excavating burnt mounds. These are massive deposits of fire-cracked rocks that shattered from repeated intense heating and cooling, leaving distinct darkened layers in the soil. You can see the scale of this method in cultural traditions that survived, like the Polynesian uno for roasting whole pigs, or indigenous Mexican pits used to slow-cook tough agave hearts for days at a time. By trapping the energy of the fire, humans effectively transformed the dirt beneath their feet into a highly efficient, conductive cooking vessel. But roasting only gets you so far. Extracting deep nutrients from tough plants or rendering marrow from bones requires boiling liquid, and early humans had absolutely no fireproof pots. Their workaround was an ingenious technique called stone boiling, allowing them to heat water using containers that would instantly burn if placed over a fire. This schematic illustrates the mechanics. Instead of putting the container on the fire, you put the fire in the container. You heat rocks in a separate hearth until they glow red, then drop them straight into the liquid to create an instant convective boil. Because the vessel never touches a flame, you can use surprisingly fragile natural materials. Early humans used clay-sealed woven baskets, or even cleaned-out animal stomachs turned inside out for the broth. Some cultures built specialized vessels out of birch bark, using tight, watertight stitching. Birch bark won't easily ignite as long as the liquid inside is rapidly absorbing the thermal energy from the hot stones. During the Ice Age in Europe, the Gravettian culture relied heavily on this method, scaling up their stone boiling operations inside massive dwellings constructed entirely out of woolly mammoth bones. They survived some of the harshest frozen climates on Earth by turning the environment's most fragile materials into robust convective boiling pots. Along the shorelines, the earth oven adapted to local resources. Coastal groups layered superheated stones with a dense layer of wet seaweed, producing heavy steam that thoroughly cooked clams, lobsters, and fish. If these organic methods worked so flawlessly across the globe, why did anyone bother inventing clay pottery 20,000 years ago? It comes down to basic efficiency. Pottery allows for continuous, slow simmering without the endless physical labor of fishing out cold stones and cycling in hot ones. A ceramic pot is just a permanent, reusable chassis for the exact same thermodynamic principles humans had already mastered for thousands of generations. Those ancient stone-based methods never actually vanished. They simply evolved, getting wrapped in metal and modern branding. The thermodynamic concept of using a heated mass to transfer energy into liquid is functionally identical to a modern sous vide circulator, and the earth oven is the direct structural ancestor of the modern barbecue pit. Whenever we bury a potato in the campfire coals or throw seafood into a steam pit, we are actively participating in a 100,000-year-old unbroken tradition of human engineering. If you want to uncover more of the hidden history behind the everyday world, make sure to like this video and subscribe to The Explainer.